Hi, we are back here on Wednesday. Bunch of letters, I'm going to get right to them. My son died and I saw him come home. He was like a dark shadow. It is hard to explain and put into words, but not exactly a shadow, but more of an energy, a moving force. Energy that walked right through the back of my house and downstairs. I called his name because he did not come home all night and I did not yet know he had passed. I followed him downstairs to his room and he was not there. About a half hour later, I got the call that they had found my son. I knew at that moment what I saw was my son coming home for the very last time. My question is, how come I could see him then but I can't see him now? And the same thing happened with my mother-in-law. I saw her energy of her spirit sitting in her chair. Can you explain? Your son had just died and he still had a whole lot of energy with him. And why wouldn't he want to come home and see his room and everything for the last time? That's probably why you saw him. But on the other hand, that's not unusual for people that are very close to friends or relatives to get a heads up that they've died, or that they have a dream that they died. That's not that unusual. The same thing with your mother-in-law. I'm going to guess that you didn't see them after the funeral, however. Look for them in a dream. That's the main place you will see and talk to spirits that have crossed over in a dream. My husband was violently murdered and his case was never solved. I think his spirit walks this earth, and I believe if I try to reach out to him with my Ouija board, I may not get him. I believe he is here and wants closure. We both need closure since he had a violent death and he was young. Is it true that since this was a violent death and unresolved that he didn't go into the light because he had unfinished business here? I believe ghosts are spirits that don't go into the light when they have a violent death. I can't get anyone to do the Ouija board with me. Okay. Murder can be one of the reasons why somebody does not cross over. You also said he was young. That could be another reason why people do not cross over. But think about this. Is there anybody that he really cared for a lot? A grandma, a grandpa, a good friend, somebody that died before him that may have talked him into crossing over? That's a possibility. And have you had any dreams of him yet? If you've had a dream of him, or somebody that you know has had a dream of him, ask them to ask him, or you ask him when you dream of him, what happened? There's no reason why he can't tell you, at least the circumstances surrounding it. Please do not use a Ouija board. You have no way of knowing who you're going to get in on a Ouija board. And I realize that you say, I only want good ones to come in. If they were liars when they're alive, they're going to be liars when they're dead. Why would they even listen to that? And in all honesty, Deb, I'm not sorry that you can't find anybody to do the Ouija board with you. They're pretty smart. Hi, Marianne. I talked to you a long time ago, and you told me that I had a lady upstairs and a man downstairs. And if I smudged frequently, I would not have too many problems in the house. Well, 2 years after my husband and brother died, I quit smudging because I thought if they were going to be hanging around, I didn't want to run them off. Well, my furnace, washer, hot water tank, stove, car, all completely broke down. I started hearing a woman's voice. She would try to push me out of bed. That would happen a lot. The animals would start barking at nothing. I was getting really scared in the basement again. So I started smudging again. It calms things down, but not completely. I still see things out of the corner of my eye. People, shadows, hear footsteps. I can smell a stinky, sweaty man that has been, and he has also been in my car. What should I do? Alrighty, Dyke. First of all, I hear that a lot when somebody has the seeds up, the quin seeds up, and then a friend or a relative dies or a pet dies. They will take the seed down because they want that person to come and visit them. Mistake. Do not take the seeds down. Number one, a relative or a friend that dies has the bright white light around them. They're not stuck until they lose that light, which means that they can come into your house with the seed up. So don't take it down just because a loved one has died or a pet has died. You can absolutely leave the seeds where they are and they will still visit. And you did exactly what I asked you to do to smudge, but this is exactly what happens when you stop smudging. It starts all over again. So you need to keep up the smudging to keep them lethargic, and eventually, if you do it long enough and are very thorough when you do it, then you should not have any trouble having having just your good ones come in and out and keeping the ones that are earthbound at bay. And the last one, my younger sister has recently passed and the family found out it was a homicide. The police currently do not know who the murderer is, and we are still waiting for evidence to be tested. It's horrible how slow the system is compared to what you see on TV. I believe my sister is still with us earthbound. It was not her time to go yet. She comes to me in my dreams and tries to tell me who the murderer is. Okay, a couple of things here. If you're dreaming of your sister and she's trying to tell you who killed her, she has crossed over. She is not stuck. Pay attention to what she's saying, or get an herb called mugwort, Mugwort. Put it between your pillowcase and your pillow, and when she comes to you in a dream, it'll be clearer, it won't be so foggy, and you will definitely be able to help her. Please let me know if you can help by coming to our home and to the gravesite. I hope she will appear and you will be able to solve this case for us. My family and I have to have peace and closure. There is also a $100,000 reward by the mayor of the city for help. Again, I couldn't help you anyway because you are dreaming of her, which means that she has definitely gone into the light. And just as on a side note, police or law enforcement agencies have to invite me to something like a homicide, a murder, or missing person. I just cannot show up. And the other thing is, when I do give them information that can help solve a case, the family keeps the money. I never, ever, ever have or will take any kind of reward money. That money just wouldn't feel good to me. And the family can usually use it. And one last thing, just a heads up, we are in July, and yesterday was a new moon, and it was also a solar eclipse. On the full moon, on the 16th of this month, July, there's going to be a lunar eclipse. Mercury retrograde starts on the 7th of July and runs through the 31st of July. Again, heads up, if you've got any earthbound spirits in your house this month, it's going to be ghost on steroids. You are definitely going to know you've got something in your house. So just keep that in mind. Don't talk to them. Get a smudge stick. Have the house blessed. Don't take it. Just do something about it. Have a great week, and we will talk to you next Wednesday. Thanks. Long.
9:52.
Yeah, that one was long.
It's okay.
These are pretty interesting, but no.
Give them their money's worth. Okay, why hasn't this?
Is it still running?